Revealed, how an 8-year-old girl's incredible love gave a young millionaire a second chance. Tyler's world had always sparkled, but lately, it felt like a hologram, bright but empty. The small Midwestern town he hailed from, where he was once just a hopeful kid, treated him like a ghost after his tech startup skyrocketed during the pandemic. Now, with a bank account bursting at the seams, he sat alone in his sleek office, staring out the floor-to-ceiling windows at a community that felt a million miles away. The laughter of his childhood friends echoed hauntingly in his mind, reminders of parents who sacrificed everything to give him a better shot. What were all these zeros in his account compared to the warmth of belonging? Enter Emma, an extraordinary 8-year-old whose big heart and infectious smile turned heads every time she zipped through town. Known for her charity efforts, from bake sales to cleaning up the local parks, she was pure sunshine. One fateful Wednesday, her boundless curiosity led her to Tyler's corporate lair, starkly polished and impersonal. "Wow," she exclaimed, as she took in the sleek design. Her voice danced through the large room, breaking the silence like a ray of light. But her eyes, big and bright, soon settled on Tyler's expression. She hesitated, her small frame tense with insight. "Are you lonely?" she asked. Tyler nearly dropped his coffee. For a moment, the shock of such honesty left him speechless. She told him stories about her late father, a veteran who wore kindness like armor, laughing and crying through each word. Emma's spirit flowed with warmth, a stark contrast to the cold, empty accomplishments that surrounded Tyler. As her tales unfolded, he felt something uncoil in his chest. He was captivated. She reminded him of lost evenings spent with family, the joy of community and laughter. It was like staring into a mirror that reflected the man he once aspired to be. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Their friendship bloomed like spring flowers breaking through winter's frost. Tyler joined Emma for cleanups at the park and bake sales that were nothing less than a festival of colors. However, whispers slithered through the town about his wealth. Some saw him as an outsider, a rich kid playing dress-up in their community's heart. "What does he know about struggle?" they hissed. When controversy erupted over Tyler's commercial ventures, it felt like the firm ground beneath their bond began to quake. Emma, brave and steadfast, championed community unity while Tyler stood caught in the crossfire, wrestling with the chains of privilege that bound him. With tension rising, Tyler was left with the ultimate choice: cling to his wealth or embrace the wild, beautiful chaos of connection Emma had ignited. The stakes couldn't be higher. As he witnessed whispers and barbs cutting through the soft fabric of their friendship, Tyler's heart raced. He was on the brink of making a decision that could alter both their lives forever. The storm clouds gathered, and Tyler felt the weight of expectation pressing down on him. With the community's eyes on him, questions echoed in his mind: could he really change? Could he reach out and tear down the walls he'd built? The answers shimmered just out of grasp, and with Emma's fierce determination lighting the way, the path ahead pulsed with possibility. Would he take the leap into the unknown? Tyler's heart thudded against his chest. He stood by the window, watching gray clouds gather like shadows over the town. The kind of weather that could easily mirror his turmoil. Each gossiping glance from the townsfolk cut deeper than he had anticipated. Their expressions filled with doubt, suspicion, even envy, as they whispered behind his back. But it wasn't their disdain that hurt most, it was the fear of losing the light Emma had brought into his life. Emma's laughter had become the soundtrack of his days. Her innocent joy radiated warmth, pulling him out of his ivory tower and reconnecting him with humanity. Each cleanup session, every bake sale felt alive, filled with laughter and purpose. But now, with voices questioning him, a chill spread in his chest. Maybe they were right. what could a sheltered millionaire know of true struggle? But then, he glanced toward the small, colorful posters Emma had made, hanging proudly in his office. Everyone can make a difference. They read in brightly colored letters, innocent and unyielding. Tyler felt a spark of rebellion ignite within him. He was not going to let fear strip away this bond. He owed it to Emma and himself to fight for this community. As if sensing the shift in him, Emma bounced into his office that morning, her hair catching the sunlight just right. "Tyler. Look what I made." She held out a handmade brochure for the upcoming community fair, and her excitement was contagious. "Wow," he smiled, but as he took it from her, he felt the weight of his doubts again. "Emma, the fair, it's a great idea, but maybe I shouldn't be involved. You know how people are talking." Her bright eyes went dim. "But you help everyone, Tyler. You care. If you don't help, they'll think you're just, a rich dude. Is that really who you are?" Her words pierced through his protective veneer. "No, that's not who I want to be," he admitted. "Then let us show them. We can make the fair amazing. Let us be a team." A wave of color washed over him at her pure enthusiasm, yet the fear lurked at the edges, threatening to snuff out that newfound spark. "Emma, what if," he hesitated, "what if we don't succeed? What if they don't want me there?" She tapped her chin, deep in thought. "What if we try and it makes them happy? Sometimes, we have to risk feeling scared to do something great, right?" Her sweet innocence dazzled him even in his hesitation. The weight of privilege was heavy, but her courage seemed to shatter those chains. He took a deep breath, the fresh air filling him with resolve. "You're right. We'll show them." And as they planned the fair together over the next few days, he let go of the image of himself wrapped in the shadows of fortune. Each hour spent with her transformed him, washed away the murky doubts, brightening the dark corners of his heart with laughter and dreams. On the day of the fair, Emma looked particularly radiant in her sun-yellow dress, running around, embracing everyone's spirit. Tyler's apprehension faded more with each cheerful interaction he shared. The crowd buzzed with excitement, and for the first time, Tyler felt the collective warmth of community wrap around him, like a hug he didn't know he needed. But as the sun began to set, casting long shadows on the fair's success, a figure stepped forward. The mayor's assistant approached him, a glint of skepticism in her eyes. "We need to discuss your involvement, Tyler. Some folks aren't pleased. They think your money changes things." Tyler's heart sank, and the gleam of the day's joy dimmed. Could he truly be accepted? This was the moment that would define everything. Would he stand up and prove them wrong or retreat back into the safety of his wealth? As the laughter faded into murmur, a single question weighed heavy: what would he do when it mattered most? Tyler felt the world around him blur as the words of the mayor's assistant sank in. It was like stepping off the edge of a cliff. The laughter from earlier faded to a dull echo, replaced by the pounding in his ears. The fair, their hard work, the warmth he had felt, it all seemed so fragile now. He searched for Emma. Where was she? He needed her light. But the crowd surged, and the vibrant colors of the fair twisted into grays under the weight of uncertainty. "What do you mean money changes things?" he asked, a hint of desperation creeping into his voice. He didn't know if he was angry, scared, or both. "I'm here to help." The assistant raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. "Helping is one thing, Tyler. But there are those who believe your name and wealth cast a shadow over genuine contributions. They think community needs sincerity, not just resources." Sincerity. The word hung in the air like a taunt. Tyler felt a surge of frustration. Was he trying to be sincere? Wasn't he here, standing with them, working beside Emma? He was giving his all. "Emma believes in this. I believe in this," he insisted, his voice stronger than he felt. "Can't they see that?" As if summoned by his thoughts, Emma emerged from the crowd, laughing with a younger boy, her face radiant. But as she spotted Tyler's expression, her smile faltered. Tyler? What's wrong? The townsfolk were murmuring now, casting suspicious glances. He could feel the questions spiraling around them. He knelt, bringing himself down to her level. Emma, listen no. This isn't about you, she interrupted, a fire lighting her eyes. It's about us. We wanted to make this fair special. In that moment, a wave of pride washed over him. Here was this 8-year-old girl, facing down the doubts of a community with her unwavering spirit. You're right, he said, standing taller. We can't let them take that away. Emma nodded, her determination shining through as she took his hand. Let us show them what we can do together. Tyler turned back to the mayor's assistant, his resolve hardening. You tell them I'm going to be involved. We're going to make this fair more than just an event, we're going to make it a celebration of who we are as a community. A look of surprise flickered over the assistant's face. But they'll resist, then let them resist, he said boldly. No one can deny the power of a community working together. Right, Emma? Yes. She beamed, her little face lighting up. As their energy collided with the doubts surrounding them, Tyler felt a shift in the air. The community had a chance to see him for who he was becoming, not who they thought he was. They were going to face this together. But then, the soft voice of doubt crept in again. What if things didn't change? What if the skepticism didn't fade? What if they all failed? With his heart pounding, Tyler took a breath. Let us get to work, he said, squeezing Emma's hand. They began walking toward the stage, where the fair's main events were held. The colors of the fair seemed to brighten with every step, and laughter bubbled around them. Just think, Tyler, Emma said, excitement bubbling in her voice, we're about to show everyone that we belong here. He nodded, a smile creeping on his lips. Together, we can. They just need to see it. As they stepped up, the crowd shifted, a slow wave of murmurs began to rise once more. Only this time, it felt different. Perhaps it was the hope radiating from Emma, or maybe Tyler was finally ready to confront the storm of doubt head-on. But just as the crowd quieted, and he opened his mouth to speak, a loud voice rang out from the back, what makes you think you can really change anything? Tyler froze, the question hanging in the air like a challenge. Was he truly ready to answer it? Because we believe in each other, he said, this time with newfound conviction. And as he stood there, ready for whatever came next, he realized he was no longer just fighting for acceptance, he was fighting for something greater, something real. Would this moment become his redemption, or would it become the tipping point that sent him back to his sheltered life? The weight of the answer loomed large, and so did the fierce hope in Emma's eyes. The voice echoed, slicing through Tyler's determination like a knife. He took a deep breath, searching the crowd for the source. A man, tall and burly, stood with his arms crossed, skepticism etched on his face. Tyler recognized him, Sam, a local farmer who had voiced concerns during the planning stages of the fair. Why should we believe you? Sam shouted. You'll just pack up and leave when the next deal comes along. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Tyler felt Emma squeeze his hand tighter, her little fingers trembling slightly. It was one thing for him to face doubt, but he hated the thought of her feeling uncertain. He took a step forward, heart racing, the color of the fair fading to something muted as the shadows of doubt loomed larger. Because I'm here now, he replied, voice steadier than he felt. I've been running from reality my whole life, hiding behind my wealth and my name. But I chose to be part of this community, to stand with you all. Lots of rich people roll in, smile, and disappear, Sam retorted, unconvinced. What's different about you? Tyler could feel the weight of the question pressing down on him. He wanted to scream that he was different, to tell everyone that he meant what he said, that he wasn't just here to flaunt money. He wanted to show them, to prove that he could change the narrative. But did they truly care about his words? Or would they always see him as just another entitled outsider? Emma's voice pierced through his thoughts, pure and steadfast. "Yes, my friend," she declared, stepping slightly in front of him as if to shield him from the negativity. "We worked really hard together, and he wants to help us. We can do this, right?" A hush swept across the crowd as her innocence and conviction resonated. Tyler felt something inside of him shift. It was as if Emma's spirit ignited a flame within him. "Yes, we can," he shouted, encouraged by her faith. "But I need your help. I need you to see that this fair isn't just about me or my money, it's about all of us, together. Let us make this a celebration of our town, our people. We can create something real here." A small voice from the audience piped up, "Can you really do that?" "Together, we can," Tyler exclaimed, his emotions surging. "Let us plan an event that reflects our community, not just a fair for entertainment, but one that highlights our achievements, our struggles, and our dreams." He looked at Sam and the others directly. This wasn't just about proving himself. It was about healing, about creating real connections. And he suddenly realized he could not let fear hold him back any longer. The crowd shifted, expressions changing. Some nodded, murmurs of agreement began forming a low hum. Tyler felt Emma's enthusiasm reinvigorate his purpose. He turned back to her, fire in his eyes. "What can we do to make this even better, Emma?" Her face lit up with ideas: games, a talent show, booths that spotlight local talents. Tyler was captivated by her vision, the potential of their ideas merging into something beautiful. The crowd watched as they brainstormed, laughter breaking the tension. Conversation sparked, and soon others joined in, adding suggestions, envisioning what this fair could truly become. They were no longer participants watching Tyler, they were teammates ready to contribute, ready to prove what community meant. But just as Tyler began to feel a glimmer of hope, a loud crack of thunder rumbled in the distance. Dark clouds loomed ominously above, foreboding a storm. A sudden chill swept through the air, and everyone looked up, uncertainty creeping back in. Tyler's heart raced. Would this fragile moment of connection shatter in the face of nature's wrath? How could they create together if they were now staring down the chaos of a looming storm? Emma's hand tightened in his, her eyes wide with wonder mixed with fear. "Tyler," she whispered, "what do we do?" And as the first raindrop fell, he realized this was just the beginning of the challenges they would face. The storm outside mirrored the uncertainty within him. Could they truly rise above it all? Tyler swallowed hard, glancing at Emma's frightened face. The raindrop that hit his arm felt like a warning, a signal that their moment of unity was about to be washed away. He had fought hard to gain the community's trust, and now it felt precarious, like the branches of a tree swaying dangerously in the wind. "Emma," he said, leaning down to meet her gaze, "we'll figure this out. Together." The skies opened up suddenly, roaring with intensity as heavy rain began to pour. The crowd, drawn in by their shared ideas moments before, now began shifting restlessly. People pulled up hoods and umbrellas, faces distorted with worry. Murmurs filled the air again, doubts resurfacing with each rumble of thunder. Tyler raised his hands, trying to calm the chaos. "Hey, everyone. We can't let a little rain stop us. This fair isn't just an event, it's a part of us, a part of our lives. Let us take this storm as a chance to show what we're made of." His voice rang out, almost drowned by the wind. A couple of folks glanced at each other, hesitating. Sam stood stone-faced, still unconvinced. Tyler fought the urge to falter, his heart racing as he scanned the crowd, desperate for a sign of hope. "Remember the story of the old oak tree?" A woman called out, her voice clear as she raised her arm. "It stood through storms and blizzards. It's still here because it has strong roots." Others murmured in agreement, and a sense of rallying began to stir again within the group. Tyler's heart swelled at her words. He was witnessing something beautiful. They were beginning to remember their strength. "Exactly!" Tyler shouted, feeling hope pierce through his despair. Just like that tree, we can weather this storm. Let us find shelter, share ideas, and keep brainstorming. This fair will go on, rain or shine, we will stand together. The crowd started moving toward the nearby community center, some clapping, others cheering. Emma tugged at his sleeve, urgency filling her little voice. Can we set up some games inside, Tyler? I bet people would love to play even if it's stormy. Absolutely. He replied, beaming at her enthusiasm. Let us make it even bigger than we planned. As they rushed into the building, Tyler's spirits lifted. Inside, there was ample space. Long tables lined the walls, perfect for setting up booths showcasing local artisans, and an area for the talent show. Laughter filled the room as families filed in, shaking off the rain, quickly absorbing the energy that Tyler and Emma exuded. The storm outside raged, but inside, a different storm brewed of ideas and excitement. People began talking, each contributing something new. Tyler felt the transformation happening. It wasn't just him trying to convince them. They were all banding together like they had shared a secret. But as Tyler watched Emma jump with excitement, his mind drifted to Sam's lingering doubt. Would it be enough, this fleeting burst of unity, to win over the skeptics once and for all? Then, just as they began to outline their ideas, the lights flickered ominously, casting shadows that danced like ghosts across the walls. A collective sigh rolled through the crowd, and genuine worry crept back into the air. Don't worry. Tyler called out. Let us keep going. We're strong enough to handle whatever comes next. And as the ground shook with another crack of thunder, Tyler felt a wave of uncertainty. Would this storm extinguish the fire they had just ignited, or would it forge something stronger? Emma turned to him, her little face illuminated by the flickering light. Tyler, what if we run out of time? What if everything falls apart? His heart ached at her fear. He squeezed her hand tighter, grounding himself as he searched her eyes for reassurance. Then we fight harder. We believe we always find a way. This town is worth it, Emma. Just as he spoke, a deafening crash echoed through the building, and for a moment, all thoughts of their fair, their dreams, their community vanished into the chaos. What had happened? As Tyler's heart raced and the fate of their plans hung in the balance, he couldn't help but wonder, was this the moment everything changed, or merely a bump on the road toward something greater? The sound reverberated off the walls, a sharp reminder of their vulnerability. Tyler's heart raced as he instinctively shielded Emma, pulling her closer to him. The whispers of anxiety surged through the crowd, a living, breathing presence filled with uncertainty. Stay calm. He urged, his voice firm despite the tremor beneath it. Everyone, let us move to the back of the room. Stay together. People shuffled, still distracted by the lingering echo of the crash. They looked to Tyler for guidance. His pulse buzzed in his ears, every breath feeling heavier as they moved toward the far wall. Emma clung to his side, her little fingers digging into his waist. He could sense her fear, the same fear that rippled through everyone else. What do you think it was? She whispered, her voice small. A part of the roof, maybe. Tyler replied, swallowing hard. Just let us focus on staying safe for now. As they huddled together, Tyler took a moment to scan the room. The crowd had quieted down, eyes wide and filled with concern. A couple of kids were crying softly, while others stared wide-eyed at the flickering lights above. It was heartbreaking to see fear replace the jubilance they had built moments earlier. Hey! Tyler called out again, capturing their attention. I know it's scary right now, but we are all in this together. We need to stick together, work together. Remember our roots. A woman stepped forward, her voice wavering but determined. We can do this. We have come this far, and we won't go down without a fight. One by one, the crowd began to regain some of its spirit. They clapped gently, hesitant at first, and then louder as the energy shifted. Each cheer felt like a small ember, igniting what they had felt less than an hour ago. Emma lifted her face, eyes shining. Yeah. Let us show the storm what we're made of. Laughter erupted unexpectedly, surprising even Tyler. The sound grew contagious, spreading like wildfire. That hope they had kindled before the storm was reigniting, stronger now. Let us pull together. What can we do? Tyler encouraged, his own heart filled with gratitude for this resilient community. He motioned toward the tables. We've got games and crafts, let us make it a joyous day, rain or shine. As ideas began to flow, people exchanged glances filled with determination. They recounted their plans for crafts, food stands, and games, each suggestion building off the last. Kids began to gather around, expressing their excitement and creativity, their imaginations racing. Just as things began to settle, a sharp cascade of water suddenly poured from one corner of the ceiling. The crowd gasped and stepped back, laughter fading into a swirl of concern. All right, let us find buckets. Tyler said, his voice rising above the gasps. We can't let a little water dampen our spirits. It's just another challenge, right? As they excitedly scrambled to catch the leaks, a wave of camaraderie washed over the room. The rain outside pounded fiercely, but the atmosphere inside pulsed alive with hope and creativity. Amidst the chaos, Tyler caught a glimpse of Sam at the back, arms crossed, but there was a glimmer of something different in his eyes. Could it be understanding? Or perhaps acceptance? Tyler felt a shift, they were building something beautiful together. He turned to Emma, who was now enthusiastically helping an older woman set up a craft table. Her laughter echoed like music. See? He whispered to her, you're making a difference. But as Tyler watched from the sidelines, the flickering lights above suddenly died completely. Darkness enveloped them. What happened? Someone shouted. Stay calm. Tyler yelled again, heart pounding in his throat. We'll get through this. In that moment, just as he rallied them again, he couldn't shake off the feeling that something deeper lay beneath all the chaos. What was truly at stake? With the darkness pressing in, he understood they faced more than just a storm, they were wrestling with their own fears, together. And yet, somehow, in the depths of that uncertainty, a fire was kindling. Had fate brought them here for a reason? As whispers filled the dark, a distant flicker of light began to form from the back. It was small, yet it held promise. What could it lead to? As Tyler stepped forward, he wondered if it would illuminate more than just the room, but the path ahead, the one that felt shrouded in mystery. The flicker danced in the darkness, gradually brightening like a beacon in a storm. Tyler squinted, trying to make out what it was. A small group of kids had gathered at the back, their faces illuminated by a handheld flashlight. They shined it toward the ceiling, creating a constellation of bright spots that made the room feel less like a cave and more like a safe haven. Good thinking, kids. Tyler shouted, his voice cutting through the anxiety. Everyone, let us gather around the light. We can still make this a celebration. Emma's grip loosened as she took a few tentative steps toward the flickering light, her previous fears momentarily forgotten. Tyler followed, protective yet allowing her the freedom to explore this newfound source of comfort. As they reached the back, the kids were buzzing with energy, their eyes wide with excitement. They held the flashlight high like a trophy. The glow wrapped around them, creating shadows that danced on the walls. Tyler could see the laughter returning like a long-lost friend. Who needs the sun when we've got our very own light crew? He joked. The room responded with chuckles, lifting the burden of fear that had settled over them. A boy named Lucas, whose face was dappled with freckles, called out, "Can we do shadow puppets? It'll be fun." Great idea. Emma's voice rang out enthusiastically. I want to make a bird. With newfound purpose, the group settled onto the floor, the flashlight now trained on the blank wall. They practiced bending their hands into different shapes, creating a menagerie of creatures that darted across the surface. Laughter, imagination, and creativity wove together, drowning out the storm's roar outside. Tyler watched Emma as she animatedly shaped her fingers into wings, her face aglow not just from the light, but from joy. The room echoed with cheers and exclamations. It was contagious. Tyler felt a smile grow on his own face. A soft voice drifted from behind. "You're really doing amazing work, Tyler," Sam said, stepping into the light. The barriers that once shielded him seemed to be faltering, as if the very act of magic that was growing around them could bridge the gaps between their differences. "Thanks, Sam," Tyler said, his heart pounding. "It's the kids who are really making this happen." "They look up to you," Sam replied, taking a seat among the circle. "You're showing them that hope can thrive, even during a storm." Accepting the compliment felt strange, but deep down, Tyler knew it was true. They weren't just keeping their spirits up, they were proving that connection and resilience could shine through the darkest times. A sudden crash of thunder rattled the building, but instead of a scream, a chorus of laughter erupted. Emma turned to Tyler, eyes sparkling with mischief. "What if we all become superheroes?" "Absolutely," Tyler replied, swept up in her fervor. "Each of you could pick a power. What will yours be?" "Flying," Emma shouted, soaring around the area, her hands imitating wings as everyone cheered her on. One by one, the kids chimed in, their voices melding into an excited din that echoed against the walls. With that, Tyler realized the magnitude of what was happening. This wasn't just distraction, it was transformation. Underneath the flickering lights, they were becoming part of something bigger than fear or uncertainty. They were tuning into their courage, crafting memories that would shine through any storm. As the room filled with superhero chatter, Tyler felt a swelling sense of belonging. But just as he began to bask in the warmth of community, a loud crash rattled the building again, louder than before. Everyone fell silent, hearts racing. "What was that?" one of the kids whispered, eyes darting to Tyler. In the flickering light, Tyler saw the worry line form on Emma's forehead. "Stay close, everyone," he said, his voice steady. "We'll face this together." But in that moment, a chill swept through the air, leaving them all wondering what awaited outside the safe glow of their flashlight, what hidden battles were yet to unfold beyond their temporary sanctuary. The tension hung thick in the air as silence enveloped the room. The children huddled closer together, their wide eyes filled with a cocktail of fear and curiosity. In that moment, Tyler felt the weight of responsibility pressing heavily on him. It was more than just keeping the fear at bay, he had to be their anchor, their fearless leader. "What do you think it is?" Lucas asked, voice trembling slightly. Tyler glanced around at the kids. Their brave faces filled him with determination. "I don't know, but whatever it is, we can handle it. Let us keep our spirits up, just like superheroes do." Emma, usually the first to jump into action, nodded vigorously, her hands still mimicking wings. "Yeah. We can stay strong together." With a deep breath, Tyler turned the flashlight toward the door, which stood slightly ajar from the last gust of wind. He slowly approached, looking back at the kids, who hung on to his every move. "Why don't we all shout out our superhero names? That'll keep our courage high." "Star Flyer," Emma declared, her little hands raised triumphantly. "I'm the brave Freckle," shouted Lucas, puffing out his chest. Tyler grinned, their energy igniting his own. "I'll be Captain Light." One by one, each child followed, their voices ringing out louder than the thunder. The room felt alive with their chosen names, and Tyler felt a rush of warmth despite the chill creeping in. He pushed the door open a bit wider, peering into the dark hallway beyond, flashlight beams slicing through the shadows. "Okay, I'll check it out. Stay right here, superheroes," he instructed, trying to sound more confident than he felt. As he stepped into the corridor, he could hear the faint patter of rain against the roof. The sound made the space feel surreal, like something out of a movie where anything could happen. The old building creaked beneath him, making the hairs on the back of his neck stand tall. Just when he thought he could handle the stillness, another crash echoed through the structure, this one deeper and closer. The kids gasped. "Tyler, please," Emma called, her voice laced with fear. Come back. He turned, taking a step back toward the light. I'm right here. I won't go far. Just want to see what's going on. As he approached the threshold of the adjoining room, something glimmered in the dark. Was it a reflection? He squinted harder, heart racing as he reached for the flashlight again. Through the dimness, the light revealed a strange metal box lying on the floor, half concealed under debris. He hesitated, instincts kicking in. Curiosity tugged, but the safety of the kids pulled even stronger. Just before he could pivot back, he noticed a name etched into the side of the box, one he recognized. Hold on. Tyler shouted, rushing back to gather the children. You guys have got to see this. The glow from the flashlight cast flickering shadows on their eager faces as they approached. Are you sure it's safe? Lucas asked, his freckles almost glowing with excitement. Let us find out together, Tyler said, steeling himself in front of them. As they all crowded close, Tyler knelt beside the box. His heart hammered in his chest, a mixture of dread and anticipation driving him to open it. With trembling hands, he lifted the lid. Inside, nestled among what looked like old photographs and letters, was a gleaming silver locket. He picked it up, and it felt heavy with history. What is that? Emma asked, her eyes wide, shimmering with wonder. I think Tyler started, drawing a deep breath. This could change everything. Just then, a loud bang resonated again. Fear gripped the group once more, overshadowing their moment of discovery. They looked at each other, an unspoken pact passing between them. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. What if there is something else hidden out there? What if it leads us somewhere important? Lucas whispered, trying to steady himself. Tyler tightened his grip on the locket, feeling its weight influence his decision. Then we'll find out. But the chilling echo of that mysterious noise loomed over them, thickening the air while they braced for what lay ahead. What awaited them in the shadows, and how would this locket fit into the puzzle? Determined and frightened eyes met in the dim, flickering glow, ready to uncover the truth. Tyler's heart thumped loudly in his ears as he stared down at the silver locket, its surface cool and smooth against his palm. The children were silent, their breath held as they waited for him to say something to tell them that everything would be okay. The moment stretched out, filled with uncertainty and the electricity of anticipation. With a sense of purpose, Tyler turned the locket over. It was engraved with delicate initials J and M. I wonder who these belong to, he mused aloud, glancing at Emma and Lucas. Their eyes were wide, filled with questions that hung unasked in the air. What if it's a treasure? Emma whispered, inching closer to peer at the locket. Like a hidden map or something. Or maybe it belonged to someone who lived here a long time ago. Lucas added, leaning against the wall for support, a shiver running down his spine. Yeah, Tyler replied, his voice growing more confident. We might just be on the brink of discovering something amazing. He took a deep breath, glancing back toward the doorway where the banging noise had come from. But we have to be careful, he warned. We don't know what else might be out there. As if in response, another crash reverberated through the hall, a haunting resonance that jolted them all. Tyler felt the urgency swell within him. Whatever mystery lay ahead, wasn't he going to wait? He rose, determination coursing through him. Let us see what else we can find. It could be important to someone, maybe even us. Yeah. Captain Light leads the way. Emma shouted, her earlier fear melting away as hope flickered in her eyes once more. Tyler smiled at her enthusiasm, but the twist in his gut reminded him they were still in danger. He led the way back into the dark corridor, flashlight beam cutting through the shadows. The soft rain outside continued its rhythmic dance, creating an unsettling backdrop that only heightened their sense of adventure. As they moved forward, they spotted a series of old doors lining the wall. Above them, the peeling paint and faded photographs told silent stories of the past. Tyler paused, training the light on a door labeled Office. What do you think is behind here? He asked, glancing back at the kids. Lucas shrugged, excitement edging his voice. Maybe secrets. Or even the next clue. Tyler turned the knob, hesitating for an instant. What if it wasn't he safe? But then, he thought about the locket and the possibility of adventure. With resolve, he pushed the door open. Inside was clutter, a mess of papers, books, and dust. The air was stale, but within that stillness, something shiny caught his eye. Look! Emma gasped, pointing toward an ornate box perched on a low shelf. It shimmered under the flashlight like a beacon. Tyler moved closer, heart racing. "Let's check it out," he said, excitement bubbling up again. Suddenly, the loud crash echoed again, this time so close it shook the very walls they stood upon. The children grabbed hold of one another, fear gripping their little bodies. Tyler turned to them, reminding himself that he had to be strong. Stand together. Whatever it is, we're in this together, just like superheroes. But the noise grew louder, echoing through the corridor with an urgency that made the ground tremble. What was happening? Was there something else lurking in the dark? They huddled closer, faces pale but determined. As Tyler turned back to the shimmering box, he felt a rush of adrenaline. Whatever was going on, they had to find out. Let's open it, and see what secrets it holds. With shaky hands, he reached for the latch, their breaths mingling in the suspenseful silence. What would they uncover? And how would it connect to the locket and the mystery unfolding around them? A moment hung in the air, heavy with anticipation. Just as he was about to lift the lid, there was another thunderous noise, a door slamming somewhere deep in the darkness. Fear rippled through them, and Tyler's heart raced faster. Was it too late? What awaited them in the shadows? The mixture of curiosity and dread held them suspended, but he knew one thing for sure: they were about to confront something that would test their courage in ways they never imagined. "Ready?" Tyler asked, glancing at each wide-eyed face around him. "Ready." Emma and Lucas echoed, stealing their resolve, and with that, Tyler lifted the lid. The box creaked open slowly, splinters of dust swirling in the air as the light from the flashlight spilled over its contents. Inside, neatly folded letters and sepia-toned photographs lay like treasured memories waiting to be rediscovered. But their eyes were drawn to a deep red velvet pouch nestled amongst them. "What's that?" Emma whispered, her voice tinged with wonder. With trembling hands, Tyler reached for the pouch, its fabric smooth yet cool against his fingertips. As he pulled it out, a sense of gravity filled the room. He untied the delicate string, and the pouch opened to reveal a beautiful key, intricate designs glinting like stars. As he held it up, the kids gasped in unison. "It's beautiful!" Lucas exclaimed, eyes wide with excitement. "What do you think it unlocks?" Emma cocked her head, puzzled yet intrigued. "I don't know," Tyler breathed, recalling the old, dusty doors lining the hallway. "But we should look for a place to use it." Just then, another crash echoed from the darkened corridor, shaking their brave resolve. But together, they stepped out of the office, the fears of solitude quaking with every thud against the walls. "Stay close," Tyler said, his heart a drumbeat of courage. They wandered deeper into the darkness, the old wooden floors creaking beneath their weight as the faint light from the flashlight danced around the corners, revealing chipped paint and age-old secrets. The atmosphere felt electric, each step igniting a thrill of adventure. "Maybe it unlocks a hidden treasure," Lucas suggested, his imagination soaring, emboldened by the adventure. "Or a secret room," Emma squealed, her voice bubbling with joy. Tyler chuckled, feeling the weight of their fears lift with every word. They moved toward a door at the far end of the hallway, slightly ajar, the knob gleaming in the flashlight's glow. With each approach, his heart raced. Was this where the key belonged? "Remember," he whispered, "whatever happens, we face it together." He placed the key into the lock, uncertainty flooding through him. It fit perfectly, and as he twisted it clockwise, a soft click rang out, echoing through the hall like a song. The door creaked open, revealing a dusty library, once vibrant, now cloaked in layers of dust and neglect, a forgotten sanctuary of stories yearning to be told. The children gasped in awe, the gleaming sunlight breaking through broken windows casting shimmering rays upon the stacks of books lining the walls. It was a treasure trove. "Wow," Emma whispered, stepping inside, her fears forgotten. "Look at all these stories," Lucas said, his fingers brushed over the leather-bound tomes, a sense of reverence enveloping the room, but as they took in the moment, outside, the storm intensified, rattling the windows. Tyler felt a chill breach the warmth of their discovery. "Let us find out more," he said, a new fire igniting in him. They began to rummage through the shelves, uncovering forgotten texts and trinkets that sparked laughter and stories about how local heroes had faced challenges, how a community saved a farmer's harvest, and tales of resilience passed down through generations. Tyler smiled, realizing they were crafting their own narrative of belonging, each page filled with connections instead of assumptions. Emma tugged at his arm, excitement flaring in her eyes. "Look, Tyler. This book says it used to be a gathering place where everyone came together." That flicker of hope grew brighter. "We can be that again," he said softly, glancing at the children. "This community can be strong." He turned to the others, determination settling in. "We'll create our own story, one that highlights who we are. It doesn't matter what they think. If we stick together and share this with them, we can make a difference." Tyler noticed Emma was already leafing through the pages, entranced. "And we'll use this library for our fair. We can celebrate our history." As the laughter filled the room, Tyler looked back toward the darkened hallway, realizing that their fears had turned into a shared magical experience. Bound by bravery, not possessions. They were on the cusp of a bond deeper than gold. Back at the center, whispers filled the air with renewed spirits. Tyler felt a rush of gratitude toward Emma. She had reminded him of vulnerability, of humanity. When they returned later, drenched but beaming with joy, something miraculous happened. The community gathered around them, drawn by the flickering glow of resilience. And as they shared the library's treasures and spun stories of the past, Tyler saw hope transform into action. The crowd began to join in, voices rising like songs, fears melted into laughter, and someone called out, "Let us bring this spirit to our fair." Empowered by the collective momentum, Tyler realized they were no longer just a rich kid and a little girl, but a team that had, against all storms, united a town. As the rain poured outside, inside, they had rekindled the roots of their community with shared dreams. A festival of laughter was in their grasp, standing firm against the shadows. In that moment, Tyler knew, this was his second chance not just to change the narrative, but to be part of something real, beautiful, and welcoming, wrapped warmly in the embrace of those who believed together. He looked at Emma, whose smile radiated the kind of joy he had often chased in vain. She had reignited his heart. That in the end, it wasn't the money that defined him, but rather the connections he cherished, the family he forged from friendship and laughter. "Let us do this," he shouted, raising his hand to the crowd. And they lifted their voices together. "The beating heart of a community reborn, now is the moment for you. If you believe in the power of stories that inspire and transform, you need to subscribe now. Don't miss out on the next exclusive tales that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more wonderful people like you. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, let us spread the light.